I first met Philip Larkin in the summer of 1958 when I was a radio producer, and I very much admired his work. He'd published one good book, one mature book, The Less Deceived, which I liked. And when I was a radio producer, I got him to take part in a script and record some poems, which he rarely did in those days. Well, he rarely did ever. And I got to know him well, and we got on very well, and eventually he did appoint me one of his literary executors. In fact, he asked me to be his literary executor, and I said, but Philip, I'm only 8 years younger than you. It's usual to appoint somebody much younger. He said, oh, well, let's have Andrew Motion as well. Andrew is, let me think, 22 years younger than I am, I think. So we did it jointly. And we didn't know, I mean, that Philip was going to die so quickly after this thing. Well, one aspect of Larkin, who was a marvellous poet, is that he was notorious for ever wanting to go abroad, you know, horrible foreigners and things. The one place he thought he might go to, but he never did, was New Orleans, because of the jazz. It was the kind of jazz that he liked. And when Anne and I were in New Orleans, because I was teaching at Vanderbilt, and went for a sort of mid-semester holiday down to New Orleans, this poem started coming to me, and I began writing it in New Orleans, but finished it in Vanderbilt. He never did go to New Orleans, but you know, he might have done. And it's a sort of tribute to Philip Larkin. It's playing around with various ideas, and it's playing around with New Orleans, which I think is a wonderful city. I mean, I was there, of course, before the terrible flood, but it's a city I'd love to go back to. I'm not a jazz person at all, but I just love New Orleans. This poem is called Philip Larkin in New Orleans. Suppose he had come here 2 days after Mardi Gras, the wrong time. It would be raining in sheets up from the delta, the banquettes awash and the gutters running with all the festival trash, laughing gas capsules, confetti, a tinsel star, cheap beads, purple and golden and green, bottle caps, condoms, masks. Somewhere too far, somewhere too foreign. He would be complaining this wasn't the dream he had had, the dream place he'd been, tapping his feet in a bar in Bourbon or Basin, the moan of riverboats drifting through the Vieux Carré, mingling with a familiar saxophone, and the girls stepping out on the streets at the end of the day. His Crescent City is much further off, a paradise where love and trumpets play in tune and out of time, beyond belief in ordinary days or usual grief, a place in which all doubt is put away. Tonight I caught his authentic other note, fixed, finite, steady in its monotone, as I passed an old black with a graveyard cough, an empty bottle, a funereal hat, who muttered something as he cleared his throat, trembled and battered off the rain and spat somewhere between Decatur and Wilk Row. His hopes expelled with an enormous no. The end of that is playing, as I hope some people will notice, with a phrase from Larkin in one of his poems about an enormous yes, which is what he said of jazz, or the jazz he liked.